Just trying to get past the glitch, guys. Hey, howdy. Yeah, maybe I look a little worn out, but too bad. I'm having a good time. It's because it's raining here. I got caught in the rain. It's off and on. I'm really glad that it's overcast. It was so hot yesterday. Well, it's been raining off and on and off and on, and it kind of makes it steamy. But I was up yesterday working on this one thing all day long. That would be that what I did was I actually rewrite what I see onto a piece of paper, and and then I transcribe it, and I look for all the interests in it. I understand the ideas of the the number system from 1 to 7 or 1 to 9. I recognize patterns pretty easy now by the words that they use, and I'm just having a blast. Me and my dyslexic self, just like, I get kind of tired, but I think it's because my mind is doing this. It's like, it's always flipping things around in there. But if you guys ain't never been here before, my name is Rick, and what I do, I try to do my best to uncover the spirit of the text, which is hidden from us for whatever reason, on purpose, for us to go about trying to find it. But unbeknownst to us, all these years and years and years of following this and not being able to change a word of it or to see it anything other than what we notice as top, being quite literal, which is the fundamentalist way of reading anything that is archaic, as the Bible is. But anyhow, what we get out of this is nothing. We get this very harsh, very mean kind of, it's, do you ever notice that whenever you ever hear that when they run things backwards off of a radio or off of a record or something, that it really kind of sounds like, it sounds like, an agony. It really does. It sounds like something swish and trying to get out, And so I do that to you because that's kind of what happens. Because there's this really scary outside of this Bible, and we're told. I've done a video of it earlier somewhere talking about how the Bible was written in this dark language, and that it was a puzzle and riddle that we were out to try to find out, and he who seeketh and findeth gets a reward for it, and, instead of me, just taking this reward for myself, I'm sharing it with other people because there's plenty of reward to go around. That's the best thing about life. And I believe that because I've done it, I've been initiated into this world now. I have my job to do, and it's a lot of work. So rather than spend the whole rest of my day picking this apart, word by word by word, I have taken on the scripture that talks about the tabernacle, the mercy seat, which someone claimed they found, well, many people claim they found it. They're always searching for it. They're searching for it like they are searching for the ark, like they are searching for the beast. If they only knew that they could find it by just looking in the mirror, they would find all these things right there. But this part that they're talking about today, you have to cut yourself right down the middle and pull it open. And that's what they're talking about today. But in the process of finding and uncovering and reading our Bible correctly, because I've gotten all my authority and all of my direction comes right out of this Bible. Now, my knowledge actually comes from, over 30 years of intense Bible or religious sides, the outsides, the garments, and the parade and the theater of it all. I was in that big time. And but you know, I have a book that gives me a list of all kinds of things when you come to reading myths, what this means and what that means, and whether he was able to read the Bible or not. He was compilating, whoever wrote this book, this dictionary, has, you know, and now as I've been learning myself, I want to pencil in certain places where he's missing some things, because he could update that. That thing is like a half a century old or something, and it is missing a few pieces. That's interesting that I think that I can put in there. All right. Well, anyways, there's another thing there we have to go through, and it has to be about my ego. All right, real quick. What do you do when you tell on yourself? I can't claim this, but I can claim that I've discovered a few things here. But it's taken countless numbers of teachers and other people and things in my life to try to find these things out. But you can see that there is there's nothing, you're not supposed to sell this. You can't make money off of stuff like this. And it's called the truth. And when people have been starving for it so long, you certainly don't make people pay for it. And so, you know, it's one of those win-win situations. You know, I'm getting something from it, some satisfaction that I can tell you that this is no longer my opinion. All right. Okay. Now, I know you may think that's ego and all, but what happens is that, you know, when you discover something and it's really real and it's tangible and you can prove it, and I've spent hours and hours and hours, and we've only gone into the Bible about 4 pages. You know, this thing here is what, 49 verses, 40 verses long. That's just a page. That's not a page. There's one right beside it that's doing the exact same thing. And this happens with every book, or every page so far. And, you know, as I've been taking apart the Bible, and I'm going to tell you this. This is the truth. I don't think it's been heard in a long time. It's the most simplest, and at the same time, probably one of the most beautifully put together and orchestrated treasures that we can uncover today. It's like the number one thing that everybody would like to know is a lot of answers and and let me tell you, this is it. This is the mystery that we're all supposed to be, you know, getting involved in. And that's why I just, oh my God, you know, it's taken all my time. It's taken every bit of it. But it's just this, I just don't mind. Well, anyways, I'm going to go through this, all right? Now, we also know that what happens is that the book itself, and again, you know, it's no longer an opinion, okay? It's a discovery. So I'm not going to go out there and try to make a book and write $1 million and stuff. I don't care. This has to be something that seeps in, and you carry it on. If you want to make money with it, go ahead. Good luck, you know. But you can still carry it on and teach people. You know, that's that being a disciple and stuff like that. You know, just let somebody know. You know. But all right. So this is Hebrew, and it's a Hebrew writing, and they read from right to left. And whenever they wrote these scrolls, they actually, I don't know if they actually do it from bottom to top, but that's how this was rewritten, to go from the bottom to the top. And I don't know why, but it was backwards. And so it doesn't even start. Whenever it says the tabernacle, it just shows up, oh, there's something within that range there that's going to tell you about that tabernacle, or the mercy seat, because you can see that it falls 40. You know what happens is when I wrote this out, I wrote it all out. This time on newspaper, or regular note paper, and it's a good 7 pages thick. You know, and I skipped each line because I was going to go through and dissect each one of those words. But oh my God. What's wonderful about this text is that it's mostly text. So, just like with the Tower of Babel, where if you read it one direction, they actually built a tower, and it sounded like God got mad at them and slammed him and stuff like this. But if you read it from another direction, they actually came down to make a life for themselves and started building things, and they honored this to God, and God kind of like, oh, it's cute. But but that was the way it really came down, and they settled the land of Canaan. All right. So you'll see that if you read the top is that it's awful, it's mean, and it's backwards. It's like that thing being spun backwards. But what I did is when I wanted to do this, what I did is I wrote down everything, and I figured out that the beginning is actually the end of the one that came before this. We're doing chapter 11 of I don't know which one it is. Of Exodus, chapter 11. And so chapter 10 is where we leave off at the very bottom. And when it ends, when this whole thing is over with, when it's all over with, the last verse, which is number 1, the top verse, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying," so it made it sound like that this was the beginning, but that is actually the beginning to Exodus 25. All right, yeah, because this is Exodus 24. There we go, 24. We're getting all mixed up with Genesis. We were doing Genesis earlier, and I just skipped over here because I woke up with this on my mind. So it begins, in Bible, it begins, with, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying," and then it went on and on. But that's the end of the story right there. And the beginning of another story, the one that comes next. So that's what I'm hoping you understand, the way this works. And it fits up so perfectly. And it's not my opinion. Okay? If you can't take the truth, then that's it. I'm not going to run around out there and I found the truth, I found the truth, I found the truth. That's kind of weird. I'm giving this, guys, to you. If you want to act a fool, go and act a fool. All right? But you can open up your Bibles and just learn to read it backwards, and you get a much sweeter Bible out of it. And that's really, really cool. It's really cool. And because I think it was meant that way. What I would like to show you is that in the back here, this last little thing that they says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that ever giveth. It will be willing, if ever giveth willingly, with his heart, ye shall take my offering." These are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what they mean, that means 1 is the offering, my offering. 2 is take. 3 is ye. 4 is his. 4, if you knew the numbers, 4 is 4 is the world, so it's the heart. 5 is his. 6 is willing, and 7th is giveth. And then it starts all over again. Every man, which is 1, and the offering is 2, and the 3 is bring me, and 4 is Israel, which is 4 is the world. Israel is a state of mind. Israel is 3 things connected. Bring this to me. That's a world. So it's 4. Children, 5. That's the body. 6 unto thee. 6 and speak is 7. All right. So it's like, oh my God, and it just keeps on going and going and going and going, because that's what it's talking about in here. It's talking about, I want you to build me a temple. And so we're right in the middle of it, where they want to build the tabernacle. This is where you're going to put everything. But this is inside a temple, and they've started building stuff. They got all of these things. There's a pattern. They're looking for, here it says, after the pattern which is shewn to me in the mount, a talent per gold shall he make it, with all these vessels. Now, a talent, we're going to have to go over this real fast before we go in here. A talent is a measure. It's usually about the measurement, the weight of gold in a human being. That's usually about a human being. So it's like 75 pounds, something like that. It's got 33 kg, but a talent is about the weight of a person. weight of gold or so. Your weight, your gold, your weight in gold, I beg of you, or stuff like that. So a knob, when you see the word knob, K-N-O-P, it sounds crazy. It's a knob. A knob is meant to twist and open, or to open, something that you can pull and open. All right. Branches happen to be comes off of the main core. These are branches that reach up for more light, which is higher learning. All right. Bowls are things that are set underneath the light to catch. So if you would think about a candlestick and a little round something to catch the drippings that come out, something like that, like a bowl to catch something of the spirit. All right. And they're shaped like almonds, so you have to see them as cups. They're just cups opened in half. And the almond is a beautiful thing because they're known for having some kind of interior truth to them, or something like it says it's budded from the root. So this is talking about the chakra system, which all of this winds up being. Oh, spoiler. So the candlestick with 7 lamps and stuff like that. But but it leads all into the story that talks about the making of the Ark of the Covenant. All right, so we have these things called flowers, which is flowers are those things that are at the ends of these things that are actually in the bowl that they go towards the higher, they bud and open to the higher truth. That's with the light. Shoe bread is going to be mentioned later on, and that's shoe bread is what Jewish people do every Sunday or every Saturday, because I think that's what they call their Sabbath. But they bring 12 loaves of fresh bread before the altar or something like that, and on the Sabbath. But those 12 loaves, those are those 12 tribes. This is talking about the world around us, all right, and the fourfold nature of man with its north, east, south, and west. That you have to understand that's what the shoe bread is. All right, it's the idea of number 4, but in 12 aspects are the things that govern and influence us in our world. We have staves, are vertical wooden posts. Shittim wood was really hard to find. It means scorching thorns. And to pierce, to flog, to scorch. All right, so that's what shittim wood means. So you should know that's what you are. You're the shittim wood. Okay, that's what they made the ark out of. Remember, Moses made his out of go-for-her wood. Because that's what he was going for her, baby. He was going for her. That's how they wrote that. Oh, and in yesterday's, did you ever catch that about Nathan's wife? You're not supposed to go to your neighbor's or neighbor's wife. Neighbor's one of the brothers that has a wife, and right beside there was neighbor's wife. Neighbor's wife. You're not supposed to go and covet your neighbor's wife. It's one of the sins. And of course, that's why they're all going. They're not done it because it's sins, but because they're taking the lower nature. That's what it means. Is I hope you're catching on with that. Cherubims. This very much will be the cerebrum, our brain, the right and left sides of our brain. The mercy seat is right in between there. We're talking about the fornix of the brain. Oh, the breastplate. The breastplate is something, it says gemstones. It's, this is about the 4 again. This is another situation about the 4 gemstones. It's about, if you were to, wait a minute. There's an onyx stone, which is placed right here, I guess, in the middle. It's dark. It's beautiful. It's known as the 7-year marriage. That's the stone after you've been married for 7 years. All right. It's the stone for Leo, which is the sign for exalted. All right. Banded. That's the hottest time of the day. Is 3 o'clock. That's Leo. And black is the 10th anniversary. 10th anniversary also is the black. So 10 is 1. So it's about God. That's the Ankh. And we have ephod. Ephod is a sleeveless garment that these Jewish people wear, and what it makes, it actually is a blending of the two. the higher conscious and the lower conscious. Sleeveless means the skin showing, and the garment means the skin is not showing. So what it would show is well, it's the mixture of the two. All right. If they were following by, Moses, they'd be dead on one side and alive on the other. Ephod, sleeveless garment. Blue, the color blue means the intellect. The color purple means wisdom. Scarlet, energy, is blood. Scarlet, the color red is energy or blood. I know blood is being spirit. Gold is the treasure in heaven. That's gold. Silver is passive, the moon. And brass is mental. So this was a 3. When we come across it, it'll be, you're supposed to be giving up your brass, and you're going through the moon because it's nighttime, the passing, and you're going into the gold, which is the right side of the brain. The gold is the treasure. That's the other side of the rainbow. All right? And those are basically all those crazy words that you may not know when you're going through here. But let's go through this really fast, and I'm going to let you, and if you can, you just go by, get your Bible itself. We're up there. We're in Exodus, and we're around chapter something another. I said it earlier. I don't know which it is. Can I remember without help? Nope. We're in Exodus chapter 24, and we're going to start around the verse around 39. I just read that one, 39, and we're going to go to town, okay? And we're just going to read, and I want you to tune your ear to it, all right? I'm going to try not to mess it up. I've been over it so many times, I don't think I can fuck it up. So I'm going to try to do it smoothly. See if the Lord will put His help in my mouth. Let my brother come and speak for me. Well, I think I'm using him right now. All right, number 38. And the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes, the small of the blah, blah, blah. All right, we're already messing up. And thou shalt make the even... Shit. But I understand that. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof. And they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same, and it shall be one beaten. It shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And there should be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. And the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knobs and their flowers. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knob and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knob and a flower. So to the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick, and the 6 branches shall come out of the candlesticks of it, the 3 branches of the candlesticks out of the one side. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers shall be of the same. This is one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7s. Here it is. The beaten work, that's you. The beaten work shall be of the shall be the candlestick. Wait. So the beaten work is what I would think is what God's going to do to you or something like that. But the candlestick is you. The shaft, 3, that's shaft and its branches, and the bowls, and the knobs, and the flower. 2, 3 is the shaft, because we're joined. 4 is the branches. 4 is the world and our body. 5 is bow. It says bowls here, 5. That's what we catch everything with. And 6 knobs is what we turn. That's when we turn the knob. And we get over here to the flowers. But, you know, that's kind of a loose one. But that's how it kind of goes. Alright? Because the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, they get mixed up in here from time to time. But you can see a cadence. So I'm going to open this up one day and find out what's more about it. Alright, so that was number 31, and we're going to 30. And thou shalt set upon the table, this is a new, and this shall set upon the table shewbread before me always. That's what it says. And that shall make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal. Of pure gold thou shalt throw them. And thou shalt make the staves Chittim woods, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. So you're the table, and they're talking about this being born in you already. Alright, which is pretty cool. Over and against the border shall the rings be placed for the staves. And this is all about 4. This is to bear the weight of the table. And thou shalt make for it 4 wings of gold, 4 rings of gold. And put the rings in the 4 corners that are of the floor of the 4 feet thereof. Alright, and before we go any further, I wanted you to know all those 4s was about the worlds that support us, and we were talking about how when you're in one world, when they're talking about being up in the high and the elevated in the sky country, that's one world. And then there's this world down here, and this is another world. But when you want to change those worlds, the world changes, and you have to be in charge of those things. But they let them sit those things, those rings on the 4 corners of the earth. That's where people get the flat earth crap. It's not. It's really about this 4-fold nature of yourself. All right. Now we're on 25, and we're going 24, 23, 22. Okay, so if you can keep track of that. And thou shalt make into a border of a hand breadth around about, and thou make a golden crown to border thereof round about. Alright, so we're at the very top. We're at the very top of this candlestick. Alright. We had just, let me get this straight. What happens is we have built the candlestick, and we have got the left and the right sides going with the little knobs and the cups, and the lights or the flowers are actually what they're talking about, to be the flowers, you know, and that's where they would relate to in the Hindu religion. These are all flowers, you know, all the way to the crown chakra being a big flower. But all of these are represented by flowers, 1 petal, 2 petal, 3 petal, or 7 petals, or 6 petals, or something like that, you know, in that nature. So that's what they're really talking about and representing the thing flowers here. All right. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and the spoons thereof, and the covers thereof, and the bowls thereof, and the covers thereof of pure gold. And that's how you shall make them. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with mint and gold in the table. Alright, so here's what we did is, now they're talking about, this is where there's a table being set down here, that it's where we will go and sup with the Lord. This is the Last Supper in so many ways. And bear with me, okay? Alright, bear with me on this. This is really cool. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put them in the rings and the 4 corners. And there be the 4 feet thereof. And that means what supports you. This is your thinking. This is your mental thinking. That's what the 4 is. Now your world, your diorama is playing out. Alright. And thou shalt make unto it a border. Alright, we just talked about the top part of the candlestick. At the very top of the candle, we build and we build some kind of a plank. All right. It says of shitting woods, and thou shalt make the staves of shitting wood and cover the wall. The shitting wood. Border against it, the rings placed. All right. It's what holds up your world. All right, and I really think that stick thing that they're talking about is what we would do as the core of our bodies. But it's supposed to be really, it talks about it's the thorn, and and you're gonna burn it, and you gotta do all of this. So you're still that number 2. It's still you. You're the sacrifice in this situation here. And let's see if it'll tell us all this stuff later on. All right. So this was the table of shittered wood. So I don't think they've named it yet. And and there shall also make a table of shitting wood, 2 cubits. 2 cubits shall be the length therefore, and a half a cubit shall be the breadth, and a cubit and a half shall be what it is, a cubit and a half, and a cubit and a half a cubit. They're explaining a box. So what they're talking about when they're talking about this is they're making that square, that box symbol with our northeast, south, and west. All right, but I really think that moreover, what you have here is what we would say would be the fornix of the brain, because they're pretty much describing the brain and the electrical system of the spine and the brain. All right, and so what you get here is the fornix of the brain. That's where the altar is. That's probably the cave. That's where we draw something out of, that's where we come and find this Jesus at, this is I know that there's, in the medical dictionaries, this is called for amen, that's what it's called, the amen, and this is pretty much the same kind of makeup that they got going on for the Temple of Solomon, all right, so, Number 22 comes like this. After you build all of this, after you build the candlestick, once you get that going and you have the oil and everything to light it all up and all this business, and the stage is set, there's that table sitting up there, and I've got my cherubims and guard and everything. Do we have any of that? We haven't done any of that. Oh, damn, I'm foreshadowing. And I'll sup with you. So once you get up here, this is where we're going to party. So I think that's what he's telling. He's showing if you build all of this stuff, this is where we will come together. All right. So it says here, number 22, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment into the children of Israel. All right. Now, this is going to take some explaining, but he's coming between the cherubims. That's the cherubims, and they're facing each other, because later on you'll find out that's your cerebrum. Cherubim and cerebrum. And they're facing each other. All right. That's why out here in this world, all the churches and everything face east, because they have to face the east. They got to go towards Mecca. That's because it says so in the Bible. All right, and so, anyways, I will meet with thee. But what he's talking about, this is the middle. This is the very center. I wish we had a cut thing of the brain, and you would see what we're talking about. It's like the eye of Horus. That's when they cut the eye. That's really a cross section of what it would be if your brain cut right down the middle, right down Lot. If you cut Lot in half. But anyways, that's what that means. And children of Israel becomes a state of mind, and a Jew is what they asserted as being a Jewish person. It's a Jew, but they're not. They're not the promised people. And theirs is not a promised land. I would not like to be in their shoes. They're the patsies. They're the patsies of whoever made all this stuff up. Oh, they're just the beginning, but they are the patsies. And they very may well be, because a lot of them are running everything, but they caught a lot of shit, but that would be their reward. They're going to gain by killing themselves. This is the whole idea of conquering your enemy by dying for them. Dying, like, does that make any sense? There's easier ways. You can just have a bunch of babies and take us over, Hint, Israel, you guys from Islam, just take us over peaceably, one baby at a time, and then kill us, all right? Because what can we do? How can we fight the vagina, the religious vagina, that's attached to just a wife, and she just, if it was attached to a mother, a real mom, yeah, I would love that. I'll take it. So Israel means somebody who is within, that is not a without. And you'll know that definition alone puts all the people, the race of Israel, out of the picture, because it doesn't mean them. It means people that go within to commune with the Lord, which is how he says to do it. All right? That's how we serve the Lord. That's why I know this is the only way that I'm teaching you. And I have to be assured, I have to assure you that I'm giving you the truth and that it's not my opinion. Now, I know some of these things that I find out are rough. I can go through and fix things up, and maybe when somebody smarter comes around, they can do that. But I have damn sure uncovered something pretty neat. All right? These stories all make sense now. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. All right, we didn't talk about that ark and the cherubim, but it was mentioned earlier, if you can remember, way back when, up in the corner on the east side, God put a little ark, put a little couple of cherubims, and what he does is they guard between the two realms. They go like this, so you would say that they are that sixth realm that allows you to go through, and they keep track. They keep you from knowing the upper thing and from the astral, the lower, which is real life and make-believe down here, if you want to understand that. But anyways, and thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark. So it's upon the ark, so it'd be the top part. In above that, on the higher side of it. And in the ark shall put the testimony that I shall give thee. So he's going to put it in your mind. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look unto one another. Towards the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. All right, now, you should be imagining, something that looks like cauliflower split in half, And the other cherubim on the other side. Even. When you see that word even in here, think about getting even. The idea is to be even, all right? Not getting even, but getting even means to, it's time to meditate, separate, and something could be bothering you, and you just get up and get away from it. There's a couple of times I got really mad when I've been doing this because of just my stupidness, that I had to get away from it for a little bit and come back to it, because this is really important. But I know how to separate, and I know what's important. And make the cherubim on one end and one on the other end, and even the mercy seat shall he make of cherubims on the two ends thereof. So they're trying to get some numbers out of this. And that shall make 2 cherubims of gold, of beaten work. So beaten has to be something about you. And thou make them into 2 ends of the mercy seat. two ends. So that's showing that they're on one side and on the other. And that shall make a mercy seat of pure gold, that 2 cubits and a half. So 2 is 1 and a half is just a half. But anyways, shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. We've already done that. The straws shall be in the rings of the ark, and shall not be taken from it. Now, I think that what they're talking about when they say the straws, I think they're talking about the pillars. You know how the Solomon's temples has these 2 pillars. So these are the things in our brain, you know, these 2 things, these 2, you know, and they're beautiful. They're for the vaulted ceilings, you know. It's just really beautiful. It's how they try to make the other ones, you know. They try to be, you know, literal with it, but it's really the way our brain is made. And the sides of the ark, rings by the sides of the ark, and the ark be borne with them. All right, and that shall be the straws. Thou shalt make straws of shitty wood, and overlay them with gold. That's where the temple is. You're going to make it all gold. That's where we keep God. All right. And this is where, because He's going to dwell here. This is where He dwells. All right. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it. 4. You have to. That's the idea. You've got to toss 4. That means you got to throw yourself in to find it. You know. That's 4. 4 would be your world. You have to toss in your world. Do you understand that? All right. 4 rings of gold for it. And you're ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And put them in the 4 corners thereof. And 2 rings shall be the one side of it. And 2 rings shall be in the one side of it. All right. And 2 rings shall be in the other side of it. And that shall overlie it with pure gold, within and without. Now, this is the inside of this little place where we are to play in the fornix of our brain. You know, there's from the pineal gland is this little bitty skinny little line that runs all the way over to the fornix. It's called the sprea pinealis. That very well could be that razor sharp bridge that you've got to cross to open the stone of this little place, you know. But anyways, it's very interesting. And that shall overlie it. All right. Within and without, and thou shalt overlay it, and shall make of it a crown of gold around it. This is talking about the 7th chakra. This is the brain at the end of a stick. But the stick is continuing on to be the interior of this. The rings and the other side. Okay, and breadth thereof, and a cubit thereof. And according to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and in the pattern of the instruments thereof, even to, so he's calling those instruments, and even so shall you make it, and even so shall you make it. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. And so this is what you're talking about. This is the tabernacle. This is where God is with us. Remember, they talk about the tabernacle is with man. It's not with mankind. All right? So if they find it out there in mankind, it's a lie. It's a fake. It's a forgery. It's flim-flam. All right? And besides, when they ark, it makes it sound like they're so mean, but there's not. This makes the ark out to be this place where you go to meet me, you know, and to find out that it's right inside of you, all the time. You don't have to go to Mecca to go get somewhere. You don't have to make a pilgrimage someplace. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to pay nobody for this shit. You just sit quiet and do it on your own. Clean your own house. You know? Don't give it to someone else to do. They're not going to do a good job. You know? I clean my own house pretty good, but I don't clean other people's house. Actually, I did just opposite. If you were to look around here, it looks like shit. But if I had to clean somebody else's place, I'd do a really fine job. My mom taught me when I was a kid that I had 2 ways of learning how to do cleaning correctly. She said one was with my hands, like that. And I was in the bathroom when she was yelling at me. And I had long hair, and she grabbed my hair, and she pushed me down and put my head down into the sink. And she said the other one would be with your head. So I chose to learn how to use my hands. Alright, so just for some coinky-dink, on number 7 of this story comes the Ankh stone. 7, you know, when you finally reach this spot, is the stone. And the stone set in the ephod, which, remember, this is the ephod is your world. This is the 4 that's going around. And the breastplate. It's just so cool. Breastplate means that 4. It's the idea of having all these things working together for you in one place. It says you need oil for the light, spiles for the anointing oil, and the sweet incense. So you know that's a 1, 2, 3. The ram skin dyed red, and badger skin, and shitting wood. Alright, so there you are. You're the lamb skin. Remember, you are the one. It's got to have blood. It's got to be dyed in blood. So, you know, dyed in blood would actually mean that you sacrificed or you're going into meditation. Okay? And then you got blue and a purple and scarlet. And then it says, and fire. And fine linen. And goat's hair. That looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is what you need, you know. And remember that chitlin, that whenever we get to it, that shitting wood is, it's meant to be burned, and it's about mean. So it's us being sacrificed when you do that. And we're now on 3, and this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold, silver, and brass. All right, now reading from right to left with those 3. Start off with brass. That's you and me. We pass through silver. By silver is the moon. Silver has to do with passing through, and we obtain the gold. That's really beautiful. That's what you're offering. This is what he shall take of them. He will take of them your brass, and he will turn it into gold. All right? And speak unto the children of Israel that they bring an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart. Ye shall take my offering. And that's the end of that story. What do you think about that? It's raising the hairs on my arms. Yeah, and it's going all the way down. Some freaky shit, man. That's some freaky shit. It's such a more prettier. I could believe that Bible. I could believe that Bible. Anyways, if you have any questions or you have a statement or some kind of something you want to say something to me. This is really long, but look how long it took me to just do that. Oh my goodness. And I wasn't going to eat it all up, but I tell you, it was just a nice word story, but it was written in this beautiful little left and right, where everything, you know how they say, oh, we need an adverb here, and we need a noun there, and we need a, such and this there, and such there. That's how the riddle works, you guys. I ain't holding nothing against y'all. Can go in there and try and find that out yourself. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You got a question about the Bible? Read it backwards. All of it. I haven't done the new part of the Bible. I haven't seen whether or not the New Testament reads like that yet. But I will. I'll check it out. But the old, just full of it. Just absolutely full of it. And it's so cool. Alright? And I'm also on the lead of the idea that we have 3 religions by Abraham. So what that would actually mean, and I wonder which way it would go, 1, 2, 3, but there's a 3 there. And so 1 would be like, representing something. 2 is representing the person, which I believe where Jesus sets in, where you and I kind of get this thing. And then you have Islam. So somewhere around there. So if you guys, anybody out there has an idea or an ear, as you're developing your ear, I've got that on my back burner to see how these 3 come together, how they work. You know, and it's just a philosophy when it comes to that, because it's just the idea of 3 showing up in something like this. All right. I love you guys, and this is God's honest truth. All right. And you can count on it. All right. Thanks a bunch. I love you.